Okay guys, so I promised you a video on trading gold, right? It's a very simple strategy. Um, and basically what you're going to be doing, you're only going to be taking small trades, but they're going to be quick wins, okay? Um, at a later point, you can open that up and say, right, okay, then, I can use this strategy um, with an open TP, okay? But what I would suggest for those people who are still struggling, to get some confidence from you basically need to win a few trades a day, right? And this way, again, it would benefit you as well as Sarge. Um, this way will definitely give you that. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to show you. Um, Basically, there are two ways you can look for entries. There, I would say if I was something like Hans, I would be looking for a 300 pip win. So your TP I would set for say 300. And then you have two ways of using a stop loss, right? The first one is to try what Igor suggested, right? Which, well, kind of suggested is a trailing 200 pip stop loss. All right. The other way is to look for three opposite Renko bars or candles, opposite color bars or candles. All right. And again, I'll just kind of show you what I mean on here now. Where are we? Right, so yeah. So let's look at one of the trades, right? Just let me put the 20 on here. Where are we? So we go for exponential moving average. There we go. Get that up to a 20. Make it a bit thicker. What colour should I use? Don't suppose it really matters, does it? I'll just leave it as the blue. Okay. Add to chart. So this thicker blue line you see here is the coloured line. Okay. It changes colour when you're below or above. Alright, so for the most part, in fact, in MT's route, this blue line from, around about 3:30, so that would be 10:30 room time on Friday, right? Once closed above here, it turned green. Okay, so basically the flow was up. Alright, so what you were looking for then is trades to the upside, but I'm going to show you now a way you can. You're going to have to use your own Renko candles, guys, if you're going to use this for your entry. All right, because it's quicker. You can see in the bottom right hand corner here, the reaction time here. See it? 5 milliseconds. That's how quick it is on your own charts. Okay, to the real market. All right, but with MTs there'll be a bit of a delay, and sometimes the movement's very fast, so the candles play catch up. Okay, so for you should always do this anyway. You should be, when you see your setup on MT's charts, might be a HA yellow, might be like Hans is using the HA white, then you should be hovering basically on your own trade entry buttons and looking at your own charts, right, for the entry. All right, so we're going to have a look at one where there was a loss first of all. Okay, excuse me. So we'll look at this one. Hey, you see this here? Okay, I'll just use the one that Savvy told me about. You see it here, down on the bottom chart? There, that one. Right, now look at it on the HA chart where it was. Okay, you can't even see it on the Renko chart. It's still to the left, right? But you can see it here, yeah? Right, so it was here. Alright, so we're going to look at that particular loss. You were back in the road, so you're thinking, yeah, okay, then. Well, another thing is, would you have actually had anything to take this up? I mean, it just showed you there it was on the top HA BB band anyway. Look, can you see it there? Okay, but let's say, oops, it was here, and you did get a HA yellow, right? So you attempted this one. Okay, so what we're going to look for now is the time here, 2048. Right, so let's go to 2048. Gotta be around here somewhere. This one here. Right, okay. So you're looking at your charts, you've got a HA yellow, right? You're looking at your own charts, you get in here. Alright, you get in on the first, because that's where the Renko white will be on MT's chart. So you're watching your own charts, that's your entry. As soon as that closes, bang your trade, right? So what would happen here is it went up, it went down a bit, then it went up here, so it went 100 pips up, but then turned. Okay, so now either way, right, if you had the trailing stop loss, right, it would have gone out on this candle here. Or if you had, if you're using a different system, you're looking for free red Renkos, okay, that one there, so you would have lost 150 pips, okay, a trailing stop loss, I think that because it's gone up 100, comes down 100 here, 200 pips, you would have lost 100 pips. Alright, that's just the easy way to do it. Don't let it go and lose for 300-400 pips. Alright, but then you would have been in here again, okay, and you'd have easily won your 300 pipper. Okay, this, you doing this, either with the trailing stop loss or the free Renkos back, the free opposite Renkos, right, that gives you a little bit more control actually watching for them, but either way it works, okay, but you're going to be more confident about taking the next setup. So like I said here, you would have lost 100, right, but then you would have won your 300 there. Okay, now just let me squeeze this up a bit. Okay, now if I just show you, where are we? There. Right. Look, guys, at how many 300 pippers you would have won, and this is not even going back to the 1030. So if we go back to the 1030, which is around about there, you're looking at these here. Okay, you might have been out there, probably would have won 50 pips with a trailing stop loss, or at worst break even. Okay, this one would have won 300, this one would have won 300, this one would have won 300, this 300. Okay, one of these here, you might have had a small loss again, free, so you might have lost 150 on that one. And that all depends, guys. Again, these entries might not have had a setup on, the HA or the 5 minute. I'm just not checking at the moment because it'll take too long. Okay, 300. This one here, out, cost you what, 50 pips? In again, another 300 pipper there. Okay, again, you might not have had a setup on these. Definitely looks like you did here. 300. Okay, 300, 300, 300. Do you understand, guys? So, using this kind of method for your entry, again, you have to focus on your own charts for the entry and the stop loss. You will win your day. All right. And again, you would be looking for HA yellows, Hans is using HA whites at the moment, which is pretty good, and I think, you know, Stephanie could probably um, use those whites as well, even though she does not like the smaller time frame charts. The HA white is just a white, Stephanie. Okay, that's the way to look at it, and you know what the whites do. You love the whites. Why not use them? Okay, so you know that is basically all you're going to be doing with gold, and you've seen how many times MT has won 300 pippers, guys. Okay, and he's using the blue line as well. All right, and look, these little. If I show you these little trades here, hits the blue line. They are 400 odd pips. So you would have got 300 pipper in there. Nearly 400 pips would have got 300 pipper in there. 300 pipper there. This one, maybe not. No, probably would have lost something there, but it did go up to, you know, 250. Excuse me, 250 pips. So again, back 200. That for a failed trade would have still won you 50 pips because you'd been out somewhere there on that candle, you know, with a trailing stop loss. Do you understand? Okay, this one, as we said, he'd been in, didn't win for 300, but it went up 200, so that would have been a probable break even, this one here. And then that one, of course, you know, massive one, but won a 300 pipper. Okay, and I mean, you know, when you look at the HA chart, these here, HA yellow's definite, definite, definite. Yeah, might have been a fake one there, so you might have lost 100 pips there, but then bang, 300 pipper here, back to the blue line, 300 pipper there. This all depends on you guys, how many trades you want to take. It might be that you just say, like, Hans is just choosing the whites, so he would have had a white here, but I don't think there would have been a white down there. Okay, so this trade up here, Hans probably wouldn't have taken. Understand? Because there probably wasn't a white down here, which means there wasn't a white up here. Alright, now there might have been a white down here, so probably a white up somewhere here. He would have won that one. Okay, so that will all come down to you personally, how many trades you want to, you know, take possession. But honestly, guys, it's a long day, and you could easily get 10 300 pipper wins and maybe a couple of small losses, guys. And if you look at it that way, then your confidence after a week of doing this is going to be sky high. All right, so let's just go and have a look at a couple of recordings. It is a very simple thing to do. By the way, BT, awesome, mate. I have been through these, had a look through them, and they are very, very quick videos to look through. You know, for any newbie who comes in the room, look for these 5 videos here. They just give you a quick basis on how this system works and what to look for, why we use orange lines and the BB bands for entries, and then how to use the signals with them. You know, so if anybody's listening and you are newbie, those 5 videos here, you know, there's 5 lessons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see the lesson there? Just have a quick go through them, and they'll give you, you know, a great understanding. And just to point one other thing out before we move on, guys, right? The 5-minute orange line strategy that BT mentions in one of those videos, this one here, lesson 5, right? If you click the oldest videos here, right, you will find somewhere down here, the very first time I came on the show, I'm not sure which one it is, I can't remember now, right? Okay. For Forex, it might have been one of these here, something like this, right? And you'll probably find, you know, me talking about the strategy that I still use to this day. You know, we used to do this, MT used to do this, you know, give up the results. Okay, and he'd stick it here. But this was the old charts, you see. GU, EU, DX. This is how I used to kill it. Let's see if we've got anyone here. Sergio, remember Sergio? Yeah. Still pops. I think that's MT's mate who lives in Dubai now. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Rhonda's still in from time to time. I see Rhonda pop up. Nelly 007. Look at this. Nelly 007. Huh? Oh, dear. Oh, look at me there. That's before Giant. That's before I got my elite status. 200 plus pips. Yeah? Oh, good, eh? Anyway, right. I'm pretty sure you'll see Moneymaker pop up at some point there as well. Moneymaker is here then. Yeah. Anyway, that was just to show you that the 5 minute strategy that BT goes on about here, I still use to this day. Guys, back in the road and boom. Right, so let's get back to what we were talking about. Let's have a look at some trade. It's on gold. Right. The other thing is, before we go any further, guys, right? Another way, like with MT, the way MT is using it, the candle color on the HA time frame, right? Okay. Um, these, will help you to stay with the flow. So a lot of people would have been trying to reverse it. There might have been a blue here. Okay, there could have been something on the 1 hour again. Now, if you're struggling with reversing because you don't quite understand what these are saying, okay, then just stick with the candle colours. Okay, you wait for them blues to do the job. So in other words, if there was, say, a 1 hour signal, maybe a 1 hour blue, maybe just a small red with a 15 blue here, then to me, right, when you've got support from the 1 hour for the 15-minute blue, then it's going back to at least the 15-minute orange line. So in other words, an up trade here, right, would have been risky. You understand? But because of the new strategy of the stop loss strategy, what I'm trying to implement in this video, you could have attempted it anyway, but you can just see it here. This is the move up, and that's all it did. It just went up to the blue line and then down again because it wants to get to the 15-minute orange line, guys. Okay, and when they've got 1 hour support, it's an absolute cert that it's going to go there, right? And so to me, that trade down then, I would have taken, which was here. Okay, but what I'm saying to you is, if you are struggling for consistency, then leave it. Just let it go, and then when you get there, um, you know, start the up move again with the coloured candles. So in other words, you wouldn't have attempted this down here because the candles were green. Alright, leave it to the pros to do this. Get consistent, guys. You get consistent and you'll wonder what it was all about. You've seen Rico this week. I've seen Rico on Thursday, Friday this week. Towards the beginning of the week, Rico was complaining that he was taking too many trades. Okay, now this week on Thursday, I think it was 4-0. On Friday, it was 5-0. All right, I've seen MT all week, right? Nils, a break even, right? 4, 5. Okay, think of it this way, guys. 1,000 to 2,000 pips a day, right, is a 5-0. 2,000 pips is, excuse me, is 6. Is it 654? Man, oh man, my bed at the moment. 18, so that's 6. Yeah, it's about 6. 1800 pips is 6. 300 pippers. Okay, imagine that every day. Right? You do that for a week, 5 days. That for a week. Honestly, your confidence is sky high. You're going into the next week, you're thinking, shall I raise me lot size? Right? And you keep doing this, and before you know it, I swear to you that before you know it, you're making to 1800 a day, um, dollars, euros, pounds. Guys, it comes on that quickly, but you have to be consistent first. You have to be confident, okay, to up your lot size. And to do that, you do it with less losses, all right, or smaller losses. You can have losses, guys, but just make sure they're small. And that this strategy basically is what I'm saying to you. Okay, so we'll just go through a few. We'll have a look. Okay, this is the tick chart, by the way, now, guys. So you can't look at this for your entries. These two charts. You look for the setup, and then you should be hovering on your own um, uh, trade entry button. Like, I'll give you an example. Right, when this was approaching here, and you got that there, HA yellow, right, or the HA white handle, whichever, right, you should have been looking at this chart, or for whatever form of entry you want to use. Okay, so I've shown you in the video there that you would have been looking for this, right, the first Renko, bang, you're in, 10, 20, 30, that's 40 pips up already before it's even tried to pull back on you, right, and the setup was there, perfect, 5-minute orange line. Okay, so you're like 40 pips up here before it's even tried to pull back on you. Okay, and what I would do with, if you're going to do it on the Dow, this strategy, or the Nasdaq, use 2 opposite candles as your exit. Okay, that's basically a 30 pip trailing stop loss if you're going to use a trailing stop loss. Okay, you can experiment with that anyway, because sometimes it might come so far down on the candle here and then only go 1.5 back up and it trips you out. So it's something you have to sort out yourself, that whether you just go with the 3 candles or with the 2 candles on Dow and Nas, or the 3 candles on the gold, or whether you use that trailing stop loss. Okay, so yeah, anyway, it was kind of a perfect trade. That flip down HABB band, HA yellow. What these HA yellows, Renko yellows, the tick yellow here, what they're saying is, I'm going to reverse. Right, so you're just looking for whatever momentum. You understand? And here it was the first momentum to show was the Renko. Here, when you're looking at this up, the first momentum to show was the tick candle. And the reason for that is that they are trades. You understand? So it was going straight away. People were buying at that point. All right, and you would have won that easily, 300 pepper easily. Okay, so we're just gonna have a look at a few. 5 yellow might get back to the 5-minute orange line here. Right. Generally, what they do, no support here, so they can go before the 5-minute orange line because there's no support on the next higher time frame at the moment. All right. Yes, we're getting near to opening bell, aren't we? So yeah, you see. Right, so now you've got this here. Okay, you might even already be in this, but again, I'm not so sure whether we should wait. It's very near to opening bell, but we'll just have a look. There you go. And I'm pretty sure that was over 300 pips. Okay, so you would have won that already. Hands out, that would have been your trade, mate. There. Yes, it come back against you a bit, hands, but then bam. See it there. Pull back a bit after it hit the line. Okay, and then boom. So, this is basically it, guys. 300 pip take profit. You'll get loads of these a day. You know, and if you're going to stick with the HA whites, okay, the tick whites, fine, mate, you'll do fine on that. All right. And Stephanie, again, Steph, if you would have seen your setup on the 5-minute time frame, these whites could be your entry because you love the whites, Stephanie. Use them. You don't have to understand what these charts are saying, right? You just have to know that there is a white there on your 5-minute orange line, or there is a white there on the 15-minute orange line. All right, Steph? So if you want to do that, then just look for them. That's it. Whites with your setup. Right, we'll crack on. Oof. Big win. And you had everything. The candles were still green. You know, you're back in the road. 5-minute yellow took it back into the road. HA whites. Yellows were late. Okay, that can happen. All right. Whites were there. Bang. All right. Oh, it was opening bell, wasn't it? Anyway, well, getting past that now. Looks for some more. Again, back into the road. Notice, guys. So, I don't think did we have a white there? Let's just have a look. Yeah, there was a white here. So you might have taken this one, Hanzo. Right? Okay. Probably got about 100 pips up, and then it turned on you. Okay, you can see it there. Right? So you were 100 pips up, right? So, trailing stop loss then, on your Renko or whatever, right, you would have probably lost 100 pips on that one. That attempt, you can see it here, it went up, then down. The other thing is, Hanzo, it all depends on your entry. You know, what you're using for your entry. If you're going to wait for the whites, then sometimes that happens, and then it goes on to win anyway. But just accept your small losses and move on, okay? And, you know, at the end of the day, by the time you finish doing this at the end of the day, Hanzo, you'll be in the green. Right, HE white flips up 5-minute BB band. Yeah, you can have a go at this. It's 1 hour orange line. Yeah, you know, it's one of them. The yellows there, the whites there. Probably first appeared on the HA on that particular one, but anyway, there you go, bang, winner. Right, candles stayed green. Flipped up 5-minute BB band. Good chance of getting what do you call it in there, a 300 pipper in there. You know, so you might have lost 100 here, Hans. You won 300 there. You likely would have won 300 there, maybe even another one here. You know, Hans probably had a 100 pip loss there if you attempted that, but you know, with the 1 hour support at the time, right, you probably shouldn't have attempted that because you know it's going to the 15-minute orange line. Okay, but with that one you would have won defo. 15-minute orange line there, 2, 3-0, maybe 3-1, minus 100 there, 4-1. Okay, and that's just in what space of well, we went from here, didn't we, somewhere here. You would have had that one, and all of the room was open, and I think it just about was, so you would have had that one there as well. Maybe 5-1 in the space of an hour and a half. You know, guys. And then you've got all the day, hands up, to do it. You know, to keep going, see what you get. One here on the 5-minute BB band again. You could attempt this. Currently, the candles are still green, even though you're below. Okay, it's 1 hour orange line again. I know if this goes up a little bit, you've probably won a 300 pipper. Yeah. Another one, Hanzo. Sarge. You understand what I'm saying, guys? It's just, you can literally keep going all day because you're just amassing 300 pippers like MT does. The amount MT misses is unbelievable. Another one there, look, Hanzo. And yeah, it shot up. So what you do there when it does that, hands, and the white's there, right, just let it do that, let it pull back a bit. So you would have had it basically from here. Another winner, you know. And when it gets time for a reversal, let's see if we can get to a point where, yeah, definitely did get a reversal there. So let's go and have a look. Oops. Right, so yeah, you know, you look on the 15-minute time frame and you should be thinking, no, that's probably going to reverse. Okay, extra help here. When was this? Thursday, I can't recall this. But anyway, you know, again, you would have won another 300 pipper here. Right, the candles haven't changed yet. Okay, right, now the candles have changed. Okay, see, with what you see here now, you should be maybe thinking, right, okay then, pull back, take it down. All right, but let's just flick along. Right, so blue here, there's a white against, so if we get a white hands, you'll be in. Sarge, everybody else will be looking at this 5-minute orange line here, in. That's probably already won for 300 pips, by the way, guys. You know, it's how quick they can be. If not, it did then. You know, and then, of course, like, you know the reversal's in because the candles have changed as well. All right, this is what I was saying to him. See, I can incorporate this now into the reversal, so people are not reversing too early. Everybody would have been thinking from here about downs, but because the candles were green, right, you were still taking the ups, and I think that might save people like Sarge from reversing too early. You know, even though they did, the reversals did work, but look, he'd have attempted this one here and lost. Whereas he'd have attempted that up because of the coloured candles. One. Okay, even this one here, you can see there, would have won up to here for 300 pips. Right, but when these change red, right, no more ups. Okay, and you've just seen what happened when I flipped along. Look, another one going there, Sarge. 2 trades there. Oh, look at them. If you can do this, Sarge, right, this will give you the consistency, mate, that you're searching for. All right, guys. And obviously, you know, that was a major move down. Right. Okay, so I think you know, you see it again, Hanzo here, blue line, bang. When momentum is double-digit Hanzo, you know it's going to go through the blue line. Your white's there. If you're just looking for white's hands, then that is your cue. You know, bang. Okay, yes, you'll miss the odd one like this, right? And I'd stick with the whites in that respect, Hanzo, because um, it's virtually a dead cert direction, you know. Anyway, yeah, because you see how that up one disappeared. One here now, but again, you're going to have to be careful because you've got up signals. So it's this one is where you say to yourself, right, okay then, if I take this, watching for a quick out. All right, still in. Let's have a look. Yeah, you see, so you probably lost 52, maybe 100 pips on that one, Hans. But then you just say, right, okay, the blues are in now. I'll just wait and see what happens. I kind of would now make sure that very first trade would be from here. No more of these kind of trades, Hans, because if I'm signals, you know it's taking it back to the orange lines. So my next one here now would be 5-minute orange lines. After that, because of this and outside all these, you know, BB bands, my next trade would be up to the 15-minute orange line. Okay, and if you were thinking still down after that because the candles are still red, then that after the 5-minute bounce down, the 15-minute orange line is the next wall, and that's where you should be thinking down. Okay, but again, it's all about this quick entry and quick exit, right? Because if you're only losing, on average, say 100 pips a time, okay, that's pretty much what Igor's losing a time. He's 80 pips or whatever, right? If you're only losing 100 pips a time, but every time you win, you're winning 300. It might be hands that you say, you know what, there's a lot more volume today. I'll go for a 400 pip TP. But the main thing, the reason I'm saying about 300 pip, is that you're getting the wins in. If you look at MT, right, 3 or 4, 5-0 every day, nil every day, but 3, 4, 5 wins, and you're just amassing pips, okay, and that's what will give you the confidence, mate. Anyway, let's flick on. So, yeah, one here. It looks like it could have won. I can't really tell, guys, without, looking at that would have won for 300. Alright, but anyway, it is just short of the 5-minute orange line with a flip down HABB man. Let's just watch, because I know where this is going. There you go, you see. This is what happens, right? When you start getting signals, this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. These are saying, no, we're going to the orange lines. Alright. So this would probably, these two here now would probably be, the last two trades, I would think. That one there and maybe that one there. Or is it that one? Yeah, no, it's that and that. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you see. So you could have waited for that one, hands, instead of risking this one. You could have said, no, 5-minute line. And you got them both there. This is the one problem with the whites, though, hands, is that sometimes they go like that and like that before going like that, because they appear when momentum's flashing. All right, doesn't really matter, mate, if you're in and then you might go out with a 100 pip loss there, and then you'd be in again here because momentum flashed or whatever. Your white's still there, so you would have had it again anyway. All right, so yeah, guys, it's quite a simple strategy to follow, and you're going to get, like I say, you're going to get nice, a lot of small wins. You might get a few small losses as well, but this, guys, I mean, it's every single day. Honest, it's like, it's this Friday. This will be the NFP, I think, 9th. No, well, no, that was the week before. Um, you know, and it's every single day. And like I said with the yellows, look, when it's ranging or a bit of a mess, look at all the yellows. So when it starts running, they disappear. You know. But anyway, quick flip through on this one. Ooh, it was a messy one, wasn't it? Yeah. BB band trade there. Probably shouldn't take it because your candles are green. And again, if you know what, like I say, kind of when it's ranging, I know that BB bands will do that. Again, here, look this one up. This is the one you probably should have taken there, which was that one. In, if it's not one for 300. Oh, out. Yeah. In again. Here. 300 bit winner. Easy. 300 bit winner. Okay, and this is something Vozzy's noticed as well, from time to time, that they do second move on these smaller time frames. You can see it here. Look up, hits the line, back down, and then the next time goes through it. Okay. Anyway, we'll just crack on a bit here. I don't want to make it too long. This video. Very simple thing to do, guys. Yeah, it was a messy day, this, anyway. But again, if you used the HA yellows on this particular day, you probably would have won. Well, you would have won. Turn red here. MT would have taken this down here. Yeah, a bit shy of the 5-minute BB band, but would have won. Bang. Okay, so yeah, well, that's 1 hour BB band, that one with a blue. Again, you know, I've said in the past, guys, you can take these free signal settles and they're definitely going to give you 300 pips. You know, again, hands look here. Might have got in, oh, got out, 100 pip loss, then you take it again, 300, 400 pip win. Okay. Um, you know, I think if you're kind of looking for, Jesus, that was a big move. Right, if you're kind of looking for this kind of thing, guys, these on gold and trade this way, you will win your day. You can't lose your day doing what I've just explained in this video. Okay, it's nigh on impossible unless you're just completely going against the colour of these candles, right, with nothing. You can go against the colour of them candles if you've got the setups. Like I said, here you had a blue and a 5-minute yellow and a HA yellow and this yellow here. So you could go against the colour of the candles, right? But just make sure you've got things with you. Understand? Like there, 1 hour BB band. Broke the 4 hour BB band again. 5 yellow, could have taken that. Would have won 300 pips. White pops up. Alright, even if that wasn't there, the 5 yellow was still there, and that's going to take it to the 5-minute orange line. You could have attempted that. If not, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to stick with the coloured candles, fine. This would be your trade here. It's also 15-minute orange line. Okay? Again, it doesn't matter if you know you're not going to lose much. You know, like you'd have been in on this here. And then 3 Rencos. Oh, I'm out. Maybe break even on that. Alright? So, yeah. Oh, God. But then and again. Okay. Excuse me. You would have won again. Alright? So, you know, I'm going to be pushing this again this week. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I think everybody that does this is going to end up winning the day. Right? And if you do that all day, all week, you know, at the end of the week, you'll be confident enough to start thinking about raising your lot size. There's another one here from Blue Line as well. You know, Blue Line, bam, 300 pipper. After time, that's like one, two, 3.5 minutes there, and that's it's not even 3.5 minutes, is it? Well, it is. Yeah, it's here. About 3.5 minutes, and you would have won your trade. You know. So yeah, guys, that's kind of what I've been trying to mention to you guys this week about it. You know, once you're flowing, these 300 pippers, when I've shown you these before, it's just like, how many times, you know, would you have won 300 pips using this form as entry? And I mean, even when it was coming down before that, look, you know, 300 pip, easy 300 pip, easy 300 pip. This one here might have got out before you won the 300 pips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So that one, you'd have been out on the close of that, but in on the entry on the close of that, right? You would have won 50 pips on that attempt, right? And you might be in again here. 300 pips, 300 pips, 300 pips. You understand, guys? It's just a real easy way to build your confidence is to take small trades with you know, total control of your stop loss. Okay. And again, you know, even this rangy period, I'm pretty sure because of this going up here that the candles on the HA chart and MT's HA chart would have stayed green. You know, you would have won that one, this one, because it only pulled back 2 there, you see. So this one there, you would have won. Okay, this one, you'd have got in, look, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, back down. That one would have cost you 50 pips. And then you won that one again. You know? So, yeah, guys, it's, I think some of you that want to trade gold should be looking at doing so. in this particular way, and I think because gold gives so many pips, I think you'll find you'll win every day. Right, guys, so that is the gold video. I am going to push it this week. As usual, I'll be on in the room, and we'll keep pushing it, guys, and we're gonna. I need, seriously, some of you have been here a long time, and it's time you started earning, right? So you've got to be super focused now on getting that one strategy working for you. Okay, you can see it's there, guys. You see it day in, day out, and for some reason you get pulled away from something that was working because somebody mentioned something in the chat. You've got to stop doing that, right? I listen to the chat, I look at the chat, you know that, right? But my strategy has virtually always been the same, guys, always. Okay, all right, see you in the room.